All right. Hello, everyone. Long time no hear from. Of course, I've been running around, had funerals, or one funeral to go to. Very sad funeral, but the woman who passed away lived a long life, over 90 years. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing. Very sad occasion. As I get older, I'm finding that I'm having a harder time not crying at these events or not getting choked up at these events. And and again, I don't know what's sadder. The person going is never sad. It's who's left and the condition that we're left in. And I don't know if every other communities or ethnic groups funerals are like this, or is it a class thing, or whatever the case may be. But we're just not in good shape, and it's not many of us left, like I said. But let's continue, leaving behind my record of growing up in the 80s. Now, this video is going to be dealing with how we dealt with, law enforcement. At a very young age, I had to deal with law enforcement. 11, 12, 13, 14. So crack is destroying everything, disintegrating everything. Any shred of any unity, any code of conduct, anything is all being shredded. We know and have discussions about, we don't make guns in the hood. We don't have drugs in the hood. It's being shipped in here. We know it's the government. We know it's the CIA. We know it's the FBI, right? So we're dealing with them. People are selling the drugs instead of trying to fight against that. Because basically, if we know the CIA is bringing it in, then it's a trap to sell it. Although the CIA is making money off of it on the front end. Because as we're buying, it's funding, and this is common knowledge, it's funding turmoil and strife in South America and Central America. And the DEA is destroying us. But then the CIA and the CIA will often protect big drug dealers that the DEA brings in. Local law enforcement is the overseers are doing what overseers do. They're patrolling us, they're watching us, they're knocking us upside the head, they're arresting us. Sometimes we get off, and I don't mean me personally, but sometimes people are getting off. Local law enforcement overseers are being corrupt, as officers were always corrupt, especially in New York City. And there's now police officers are selling drugs and got people selling drugs, or looking the other way for certain spots and taking payoffs. So that's the mess. That's us dealing with law enforcement. Teenagers. So as a 52-year-old man, it doesn't surprise me that they're doing corrupt things because they don't know the body cameras are on. The shooting people we didn't go through in New York, that's shooting us, we didn't play that. Now they're just assassinating us because, like I said, now we're 40 years of lack of community, lack of code of conduct, lack of anything. We're just done. And you don't stay the same. So 40 years of not having any pushback against the system that's destroying you creates this. We are the personification of destruction. Either we're destroying ourselves with drugs, alcohol, food, or bad food, and those kinds of things, or we're hurting each other. The abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse, gang violence, gun violence, crews, all that kind of stuff. And that's where we are. Most of us are still destroying ourselves, though, and it's a sad thing. But all that comes from the system just destroying us and disintegrating us, and not leaving enough for us to fight back so that there's some balance. So now I don't know what America's going to do, because the very community that you use as fuel to fuel the empire is basically done. You've grinded them down so much, there's nothing left. So you're running on fumes, momentum. And that's why there has to be a great reset. But what are you going to do with all this dead weight? Which, by the way, still holds a certain amount of brilliance, still holds a certain amount of ideas, still holds a certain amount of creativity. But it's behind insecurity, it's behind selfishness, it's behind inferiority complexes. Right? Walls and walls of it. What are you going to do? You're going to come in and try to pluck out the ones you can get? Maybe. And we'll see if that's what happens. It's a sad situation, but we've been dealing with law enforcement for decades. I've been dealing with it since 13, 14 in a very conscious way, and before that in an unconscious way. But yeah, this is what it was like living in the projects. Marcus Garvey houses, Prospect Plaza, Brooklyn, New York. So Prospect Place in Saratoga. So that's it. And to just show you how bad it is, the very buildings that I grew up in have been knocked down and replaced and built over. Everything built over with new complexes. So you talk about a reset. There's your reset. Until next time, take care of yourself and be safe. There's all kinds of germs out here, so be safe. I never stop wearing my mask. And people can look at me as funny as they want. Support me by going to the links or giving directly. But, get this video, look at it, pass it around to see what it was really like growing up in the 1980s, in the crack era. An on-the-ground view. Take care.